Okay, so we're going to start with case Edwards Electronics. This is for chapter 6. One of the keys with creating Excel spreadsheets is to ensure that they're understandable. So we're going to get started and make sure that we create row and column headings for everything that the information we have here. We're also going to be creating color code things so we know that this is the information that I got from the question and this is the information that I'm calculating, as well as we're going to figure out a way to have a color code for our answers that we have out there. So in this question, we're going to take this question and answer it in Excel. Once we do that, because we're going to have input cells, we're going to be allowed to change the numbers or maybe use them for different questions, and we should come out with the same answers. So I'm just going to start down here and type in the cells that I'm interested in so that I can enter the values. So we have two groups. We have Edwards Electronics and we have Staples, and we're going to be comparing them because our first question says what's the cost per camera, ignoring taxes for Edwards Electronics and for Staples. So I'm just going to start off here and I'm going to reading the question. It tells me that they have a certain number, and so Edwards ordered 6 of them. So we could say, what is the number of units? And Edwards had 6 of them. And the cost of each camera is $170. Is 170. Our terms are 215 net 30. So the cash discount is 2%. And I'll just put 2% in there. We have been told the cost of each camera is $170. Terms are, I guess it's $215 net 30. The manufacturer's suggested retail price, so I'll put that in. Manufacturer's suggested retail price for each camera is $400. The owner calculated the overhead at 15%. And of the MSRP, and the desired profit is 18% of MSRP. Okay, so what I've done is I've just put the information in there. I wanted to follow the question. It's not necessarily the perfect order, but it's good enough. So this is going to be for Edwards, and then we're going to look at Staples. Okay, so I'm going to do some calculations over here to just sort of figure out what the values are going to be. I'll just highlight that, and I'll use merge and center to just center my data right in there. And I'll carry on. So Staples, they have a large camera shop in the store. Okay, there's a few things I did notice here was that our decimals have rounded, and I don't want it to be rounded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ensure that my decimals at least have a 1 decimal. So my percentages, sorry, need to be at least 1 decimal. So I'm just going to make sure that everything has at least 1 decimal for these percentages. And I'll do that for these, even though it didn't round on me, but I just want to make sure it doesn't round. Don't appreciate it when it does. And then at the end, I'll make sure that everything has the values associated with it. So if it's $1 or if it's a number, we'll get that fixed too. All right, so now we're going to just do some calculations, find out what the net price is that they paid. So we're going to put in net price down the bottom here. So the first thing I have to do is figure out what the cost of the items, like what did Edwards and Staples pay. So I'm going to put in a formula, and I'm just going to put in a simple formula that says equals. So it equals the number of units that they purchased times the cost of those units. And that one is going to be, I'll put it as $1 currency just because. And then in the Staples, it is the same thing. I could copy and paste that over if I like, or I can just do it again. So that equals our number of units times the cost of the units. Okay, so I have my values here. If we look up at the question here, they have a small number. They ordered 6, and the cost of the cameras will be $170. Okay, so therefore his net price of the units here is going to, he doesn't have a quantity discount at all. We're not worried about his desired profit, but his net price, because he doesn't have any quantity discount, equals the cost minus any quantity discount, but he doesn't have one, so it's not going to, he's not going to get any, so his net price is there. Staples, on the other hand, offered both a cash discount and a quantity discount. So their quantity discount is going to be a quantity discount of 3.5%. So his quantity discount is going to be equal to the cost times the quantity discount here. Okay, it's a percent, 3.5%. Okay, so he's got a quantity discount of $416.50. So that means that he gets $416.50 off his order because he bought more than a specific amount. So we're not sure. It doesn't say what amount was the cutoff for him to get, for Staples to get their quantity discount, but they bought enough that they got a discount. All right, so the net price in this case, actually I'll do the formula in case for a quantity discount in case they get one. So for Edwards, so that equals the cost times the quantity discount, even though there isn't one, okay? So Edwards does not get a quantity discount. All right, so we're going to get to the questions that are here. One more thing that we probably want to put down here is the amount paid. So the amount that they actually paid. I don't know why I have that going on. So we have an amount paid here. So what I'm going to do is put in here what their cost was. So the amount paid for those cameras that they had. And in this case, the amount paid equals our net price minus any cash discount if they got a cash discount. So the cash discount would be $20.40. And the amount paid for Staples would be the same thing. So it is your net price minus any cash discount that we have right there. So question 1, if we scroll back up and look at our questions, it's asking what is the cost per camera for electronics and Staples. So I'm going to put in the question 1. So question 1 says cost per camera. So let's start with that one. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so it covers that. So their cost per camera, in this case, for Edwards, it equals the amount paid divided by the number of cameras, right? So they had 6 units. So each camera cost $166.60. We'll do the same for the cost per camera for Staples. So that equals the total amount we paid divided by the number of cameras that we bought. Okay, so we have $159.13 for the cost per camera. Question 2 says for each store, what is the minimum selling price required to cover the cost, the overhead, and the desired profit? Okay, so our next question says question 2. All right, so the extra profit they would make if they sold it at MSRP equals the MSRP minus the minimum selling price, okay? The minimum selling price. Now, you'll notice that it's covered my cell right up here, and I really do want that cell. So I'm just gonna do, I have put the minus sign in there, and I'm gonna do my up arrow so that it chooses my minimum selling price, okay? So the extra profit based upon, so not their minimum selling price, they're not going to sell it at that. They're going to sell it at their $400, not that $296. So we'll just select that. So they're going to make extra profit of $101.40. The same for Staples. That's going to equal the manufacturer's suggested retail price minus, and that the cell above it, so it's really hard to see. So we're just going to use our up arrow so that we use E27. Okay, so extra profit was only 87 cents because our MSRP was 400. So the extra profit percent that we're going to make equals our extra profit divided by our MSRP, which gives us, and I want that in percent, so it came out as 25 cents. Don't want it in currency. I have to change that to a percent. Okay, so we have 25.35%. And these guys, I don't really want all those dollar signs, so I'm just going to make it into a comma style. Too much dollar signs going on. Okay, I'll change that into dollar style as well. Into currency, just to get rid of all those dollar signs. And the extra profit that's going to be made if they sold it for Staples at $400 equals 87 cents, or the extra profit divided by the MSRP. Okay, so they would make 0. No extra profit percent because it's only 87 cents. Okay, so I think we got that. We'll go on to question 4. Now we can't go on to question 4 quite yet because I forgot to change this to a percentage. And yeah, 0.22%, that's better. I was like, where'd it go? I had it as $1. So it's at 0.22%, which is good. Okay, question 4. Question 4 asks, what rate of markdown from MSRP can Edwards offer to cover the overhead and make its originally intended profit? Okay, so question 4, we will put in there as a markdown percent. So you'll notice that I'm separating everything out. These are calculated fields, so I could put those in as calculated. I may as well just do that now before I get finished. They are calculated fields. And actually, maybe they're going to be answers. So I'm going to actually change those because they are calculated fields, but they're also our answers. So I made that orange, right? Something like that. And I'll make that orange too. So those are our answers that we came up with, and we've calculated them up there. Okay? So let's figure out what our markdown percent is. So for this question here, when we talk about the rate of markdown from MSRP,